Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new video, and this one is a flip through. I previously did all the 3x8s that were in my layouts for LA. Now I have all the 4x8s completed, and I originally had thought I was going to do process videos for all of them, like 3 to 4 layouts at a time, but this came together so quickly. I didn't even have time for that. I sat down to do it, and it literally only took me a couple of hours. And I have to be honest, I'm really loving the hybrid option, and I can see myself doing this more in the future. I don't think I would ever give up 100%, doing the physical albums, because I really like the embellishing. But I can definitely see myself using like a combination and doing this hybrid thing, because it's cheaper, it's so much faster. And as somebody who tends to be a completionist, I love being able to see my completed work so quickly. And I tend to run, 6 months to a year behind, at least on most of my albums. I would love to be able to finish those even faster. So I think this is something you'll see more of in the future. So here's my opening page. As you can see here, I kept it very simple. I had these stickers available on a big sheet that I had, and I have several that have these scooters on them, and they're very cute, but how often do I use scooters? It's more of a European thing, at least how I think about it. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get rid of one here because it matches the label. It's got the colors, that I have anyway. I'm going to do it. So I utilized those, and then I just did a very simple stamping using, do I have it here? Yes, using my roller stamp from Cocoa Daisy, and put that on there because I literally had one day, and it was even less than a day. It was really only about 5 to 6 hours between the time I landed at LAX and to the time that I caught my train on my way to New Mexico. So here you can see I have put this one together. I dropped in my 4 photos, and they were quite busy. So when it came to embellishing this, I wanted to keep it relatively simple. And I had this sticker, which actually said LAX. You can't get much more perfect than that. I would have loved it if the color was a little bit closer to this, but I'm not going to complain. I used it anyway. A little puffy dot there to match the orange on the plane, and then just this little phrase label here, and very simple. And I had quite a bit of journaling, so that was okay. And then over here, this one was actually printed as a 3x8, so I needed to put it on a 4x8 background in order for it to fit with what was on the other side. And I just got lucky that I had some nice pattern paper that fit really well with this kind of coral color that was in there. And then I just used the rest of this label here that I cut off. I used it here just as a visual element. Clearly, it's not holding anything down, really. It's just to look cute. And then I put in a yellow phrase down here. And then on this side, I just have the entrance to the station because I went there first, dropped off my bags, and then went out to explore the city, and then came back later. So I wanted to definitely show off the train station because it's quite unique. I've never been in one quite like it. So I definitely wanted to feature that. And it's kind of funny because this part looks super modern, the front of it. But when you're inside, it has a lot of older elements, and especially like the Spanish style going. So it's definitely different than other stations that I've used. On this side, I dropped everything in, so I've got a digital card here, and it's a little hard to read maybe in this light, so I'll bring it up here. There you go. So you can see that. And then interestingly, this part I actually had journaling under here, but I realized I made a typo when it came. Instead of saying greet, I had typed in great, so it didn't catch it because it wasn't spelled wrong. That's an actual word, but it's not the word I wanted. And rather than reprint and do whatever, I figured out, you know what? I really didn't need what it said there. This is fine. So I just covered it up, but it had to be kind of large. So I had to cut this pattern paper, get that sticker on to cover it, but I think it worked out well. And then on the back side here, I just wanted to include some details of the design from inside the station because I love all the tile that I got to see there. You can kind of see on the floors here too, a little bit closer up here. And I loved the board showing what was in all directions because this is an intermodal station. It's not just Amtrak. It's buses, other trains, I think, that go around the city, plus Amtrak. My next 4x8 was also some more in the station. As you can see, look at these beautiful ceilings. I mean, if I didn't showcase that, it would feel wrong. So I wanted to do that. kept this one very simple. I dropped in digital paper, had some puffy sticker hearts there, strip of washi, and called it good. And then over here, this is when I actually left the station, was starting to explore, so you can see the outside of it, which is lovely. It didn't need a whole lot, so just a quick sticker here, added a camera sticker in this open space of the card I dropped in, and that's it. My next 4x8 was at City Hall. And again, this was one where a lot was happening in these photos, so I had to keep it simple. I didn't want to overwhelm it, so I had dropped in just subtly patterned paper here digitally on this space. All I had to do was just kind of match the orange and the flower. So I chose these binoculars because I was viewing everything and somewhat from a distance. And then I did this phrase strip here, keep it simple, and that's all it took. And then part of what I wanted to do was go to the Grand Central Market because it was right down there by some other things I was doing. So I have quite a few layouts from that. It was a great experience. If you've never been there and you happen to be in LA, I encourage you to drop in. It's not just all food. I mean, most of it is, but they also have like a little gift shop area where you can buy stuff that says Grand Central Market. They had a whole area that had like stickers and enamel pins and stuff. So it's quite a unique space, and I think it has a lot to offer. But I was predominantly there to eat because it was getting late already and I needed something to hold me over till I was going to have dinner on the train. So you can see here, I just try to match like all the greens and then work with some of the offset colors. Kept my embellishments limited here as well. And then over here, this was a very big mix of colors and styles and all kinds of things. So I tried to go black and white as much as possible. So this worked out well that I had that. This is actually a rub-on that I had here. This was a border sticker from one of the same sheets of these other things that I had used. So I really tried to contain my supplies as well, so I wouldn't overwhelm myself with choice. So I think this worked out well. And on the back side, this is what I actually ended up choosing for my meal. I went with sushi. I just did kind of some standard sushi rolls, but it was enough to tide me over. And it actually provided some good color because I have a whole set of sushi cards. So it worked out well. All I had to do was slap on this very thin chipboard embellishment and some washi, and it was done. And then for this one, they did have Christmas decorations up, so I wanted to show off that. I do have a regret in that I wish now that I hadn't picked such a dark background, but it was a standard one that was offered for free in Canva, so I thought, okay, I can tweak that for what I want. I don't have to do too much design work on it. I did move around some of these elements here to get what I wanted and make sure the colors were going to match, but I loved the look of the Polaroids here, so that's predominantly why I chose it. And then all I had to do is I just put on this little thing. I cut off, it was a full circle, I cut off the rest, put that here, and then just used this little sticker, and that was that. One of the things I wanted to do was the funicular, and it's actually right across the street from Grand Central Market. So if you're there, you can do both in the same grouping, and it'll be super easy. You literally just walk across the street and you're there. And it's only $1 each way. So $2 to go up and down. So I thought, well, how can I pass that up? I have to do it. And it's just such a unique thing in LA that I couldn't pass it up. So it's also very hard to miss because look at that bright orange that they used. So if you're walking down the street, you won't miss it, I guarantee. So because this was so cool, I wanted that to be almost a full page. So I inserted that photo, and then again, minimal embellishments here. A little bit of chipboard, this little thing. This blue pendant was actually digitally put on there, so I didn't add that. That's digital. The rest of these items were just part of the kit that I had made. Super easy. And then over here, these two, I mean, technically they're one-pagers, but they do match because they're from the same thing. So I did try to bring over some of that green and orange so that it would match, and a little bit of blue, and I think that helped. But again, I just dropped in a digital card. I have one sticker here. This was all done digitally, and this is digital paper that I also dropped in. So this one was super, super easy. They had the upper area, which is called Angel's Knoll. They had that all done up for Christmas, and so I thought, okay, it's a unique thing to see, you know, all this Christmas stuff when it's almost 80 degrees outside. So I wanted to put that in there, and I had just purchased some stuff from In a Creative Bubble that was all Christmas themed for the holidays. So I thought, all right, I'm going to use some of that, and I loved this one because it had so much color. A lot of the other ones are, you know, maybe 1 or 2 colors with black and that's it. This one had a lot more color to it, and I felt that that was fitting for this, just given the contrasts here. And then this is also a digital element that I just dropped in. Literally the only embellishment I put on this page that's physical is this little puffy star right there. So my next 4x8 is when I'm actually on the train, and I just used, this was a full piece of 12x12 paper, and I just cut this out. It was all different tags about transportation, which I absolutely loved. I feel like that paper is made for me. I think it was made by Vicky Booten, maybe. So if you like it, check that out. But I have that. So I just cut that out because it was interesting that it had a train on it and it was central, which, you know, the station here is right downtown. It was very fitting. And again, all this was dropped in digitally. These are the only 2 things I added. This little chipboard phrase and this little tag. On the back side, I have my meal for the evening, and I tend to always pick the same thing because I love it. So I wrote about that, and then kind of some unique colors happening in some of this. So I just tried to match those as best I could with what I had. And then on this side is the next morning, because I pretty much ate, read a little bit, went to bed. That was it. But then here I set my alarm to get up for the sunrise. And because these shots were so beautiful but simple, I wanted the rest to reflect that too. So I dropped in a very simple digital card. I added this on. I did the date here with a little heart sticker. That's it, because I didn't feel like it really needed anything else. And then these are some views of the morning, looking out on the desert landscape, which I love. Simple embellishment here. Same, this was just the end of a label I had, very simple. And then more views out the window. I could have put this one and this one together, but this technically happened in between. So I wanted to just keep it in chronological order. But this one, that was already on the template. I didn't have to do anything. So this is the only thing I added. And then this is my closing page, still on the train, getting ready to detrain though in Albuquerque to meet my friend. And again, this was all part of the template. I added these 3 elements, a little bit of washi here. These stickers, I believe, came off the same sticker sheet, so it was super easy to find those, and I knew they would match that way. And I just got lucky that the washi matched, but it didn't need much else, so I wanted to keep it very simple and clean, and I think I was successful there. So now this whole album for LA is done. I have another one finished, and it feels so good to know that I accomplished that. Thanks for watching.